Hi guys. Okay, so today we're gonna go ahead and do an appetizer. I'm excited about this because I've actually never tried it. So this is the first time, hopefully it works out. If it does, I'll let you know at the very end. So it's baked goat cheese in tomato sauce. Now, I'm gonna give you the ingredients real quick. So I'm gonna put about a tablespoon to maybe half a tablespoon of brown sugar. We're doing roasted red peppers. This one's a 12-ounce can. I'm gonna use about 3/4 of it. I'm using a pound of peeled tomatoes. I'm at about 3 tablespoons of olive oil. We're adding 1 tablespoon of ground cumin. Here we're adding black pepper to taste. Always salt and pepper is gonna be to taste. We're adding 2 tablespoons of paprika, 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. We're doing medium-sized onion, about 3/4 of it, salt to taste. We're adding chili flakes, and that's gonna be also to taste, but normally I'm gonna do about 1 to 2 tablespoons of it. We're doing cilantro just for a little bit of color at the very end, and the goat cheese. Make sure this is softened and dried, but it's ready to go. And of course, the baguette. We're gonna add a little bit of oil and good stuff to it. Let's get started. I'm gonna go ahead and put the oil in there. So about 2 to 3, you can tell it's already starting to warm up really fast. So I'm gonna put the onions first. Okay, so I went in there and added the garlic as well. Now I'm just gonna wait for that little bit of smell to know that it's cooked. And then I'm gonna start adding the rest of the stuff. I don't want this to brown up. I just want the smell. Okay, now we're ready to go. So let's go. I'm gonna go ahead and add the peeled tomatoes. I do want to mention, because of the tomatoes, when I'm squashing them, because they're peeled, they're gonna burst out. So kind of poke a hole or two with your finger, so you have control of where the juices are going. So underneath would be better, and then just squish them and put them in there. Okay, so now that the tomatoes are in, I'm gonna go ahead and start adding the roasted bell peppers. Not sure if I mentioned that earlier, but I am in roasted bell peppers. This is an 8-inch skillet. I'm just only adding about half of the roasted bell peppers. Start adding the rest of the ingredients. So we're adding paprika, 2 tablespoons. This can be about 1 to 1.5 tablespoons, but I like a little bit of kick. Speaking of kick, I'm adding the flakes to it. Maybe about a pinch or 2. I want it to have a little bit of spice on there. Let's add the salt. This, I want to make sure that there's enough of it. So I want about 2 pinches, which is about 1 tablespoon. Now we're going to add the ground cumin, maybe about 1 tablespoon of that to 2, depending how large your skillet is. Add a little bit of sugar. Last thing, which is the pepper, which is about 1 tablespoon of pepper. And then we're just gonna stir it now together. You want that to kind of get all over. I'm gonna cook this for about 10 to 15 minutes. I'll be right back to show you how it is before we start adding the cheese. I put the oven at 375, so I'm gonna slowly cook the cheese. I want it to have a nice golden taste to it. I'm not really fond about it burning when it comes to that. And you always want to make sure that you're tasting it, because you never know if that's not enough salt or pepper, but always go in there because you might just need a little bit of something else. That's good. Oh, you're gonna be thanking me. You can already smell that it's gonna be delicious. So I'm gonna go ahead and start adding the cheese. What we're gonna do is, this is a goat cheese. The entire block is going in there, round I should say. And what we're doing is gonna put it in the oven at 375. We're gonna control it. So we're gonna control it for about 25 to 30 minutes, okay? So, woo, look at that. Yeah, this looks and smells amazing. Let me try it again just in case. Ooh, it's good. Okay, so now let's go ahead and put the round in there. Let's make enough space for it. Make sure that we get this, because we don't want to burn ourselves, right? So let's put it in the oven. We'll be right back when this is in about 25 to 30 minutes. Now that it's in the oven, let's go ahead and work on the bread. I'm gonna give you two options. I'm gonna give it where it's just a simple taste with a little bit of olive oil and a little bit of garlic. And I'm also toast a few of them just so we can see the difference. So we have a nice crunch to it with the sauce. So I'm gonna cut this in an angle. So I like them a little larger because we're large and in charge. Because presentation, it always looks prettier, right? So let's see how they're starting to just look super cute. A garlic clove. I'm just gonna get a fork and I'm gonna kind of like spread it around after I've done the oil. Let it kind of nicely coat, maybe both sides of it so we can get that.
Now at the end, what I'm doing here is making smaller portions of it rather than large ones, and this one I'm going to go ahead and leave them as is so we can just soak it up, the juices.
Let's just drizzle, nicely coat, maybe both sides of it so we can get that. See, get that coated. Can get enough oil there. There you go. So let me finish these and then I'll be right back and place them in the oven for a few minutes. We want them nice and toasty so we have a good crunch at the end. We can do a little dance break in between while we wait, wait. Okay, so we're here and I actually left this for another 10 minutes, so about 40 minutes on 375. And I think it's a beautiful color at the very end. Let me get this a little closer to the camera so you guys can see it. But look how gorgeous that looks. Isn't it just, oof. Honestly, I'm excited to try it. So give me a second, let me get the utensils and scoop it up and all that good stuff. But it's a little hot, so you want to be careful when you're scooping it up because it just came out of the oven. Kind of just soak in the juices. So I'm gonna leave those for a couple minutes. Let's add a little bit of cilantro and then we should be good to go. This is perfect. Just want to make sure it's not too hot. It's like the perfect amount of, I almost teared up a little bit. It's like the perfect amount of roast. Nice tomato base to it. It's perfect. I can taste the onion. The cheese is just perfect. It's soft. It almost like melts in your mouth. Let's keep trying it. This was one of those items I had never tried before, but I'm glad I did. So glad you came and followed and subscribed and liked and shared, hopefully. I'm Jose Zamorano on YouTube and Facebook. I'm Jose Not One on Instagram. But thank you again for coming. Bye guys. Bye.